This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
To our listeners, we're recording 2 episodes in the same day to get ahead of me going out of town. And so because of this, we are currently cracking into our second Whiteclaw of the day.
This one might go off the rails.
You know, I'm on board for that. You know, I love that. Like, all I've had today is a string cheese, so let's do this. But so I was talking to you before I came here. I went to this like little local liquor store and bought some White Claws, and they had the V2 pack. Mm-hmm. Which I've tried, and I know you tried because Christina.
Yeah,
you
I did like
a
Facebook live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Talking about the flavors, and I had bought them. This is not an ad for White Claw, by the way. Although why they're not sponsoring us yet?
Because we've our OG with White Claw.
Are.
Yeah, I don't understand why they haven't given us some of that sweet seltzer money.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna send them an email after this. You know what? I'm gonna go back and listen to our whole archive and start pulling White Claw references from every episode from day one until they give us a sponsorship. But so I tried the V2 pack, which has lemon, watermelon, tangerine, and mango in it, and we already knew we loved the mango.
Yeah,
that's what I'm drinking right now. It's delicious.
Yep.
I have to say,
the
tangerine
is perfection.
Magnifique.
Yeah.
And Anthony loves the watermelon flavor. Like, he actually really likes it. I liked it
wrong
too.
with his taste buds?
I liked it.
No, it's awful.
It tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. Okay, so it doesn't really taste like watermelon. It tastes like artificial watermelon. But you know what? I was raised on artificial watermelon. I'm going in on it. I think it's all right.
I haven't tried it yet.
Hated it. And you know, I didn't love lemon either. So even though V2's been out for a while now, I stick with V1. I really do. Even though I'm missing that sweet mango flavor.
And the tangerine, man. The tangerine was amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty good. But dude, like in V1, there's ones that I like more than others, but there's none I actively dislike. I actively dislike watermelon.
That is
so I'm like,
funny to me. Cassie's going to have to be the tiebreaker.
What I will say is that I don't like the watermelon LaCroix.
Okay, I've never had it.
I don't know if it's any indication of where I'm going to land. I generally am pick watermelon Jolly Rancher.
You do like watermelon Jolly Rancher. I do. Well, then I think you might like
this
it.
This is a Patreon thing. Is Cassie the tiebreaker? I'm going to make you drink 4 LaCroix in front of us,
or White Claws.
White Claws, yeah.
White Claw. Yeah.
I really, because my new favorite bubbly flavor is cherry. I really think they need to have a cherry.
Yeah, they have the black cherry White Claws.
Yeah.
But there is a slightly different flavor to black
That's
cherry.
true.
A lot of people don't like the black cherry White Claw. They think it tastes like
medicine.
cough syrup.
I like
But you
it.
know what? I actually low-key like the taste of cough syrup, so maybe it's me. Yeah, maybe it's me. Like, Anthony thinks I'm nuts because I always buy the liquid NyQuil in like the cherry flavor.
Yep.
I always buy that, and he's like, "Why don't you just buy the pills? It tastes terrible." And I'm like, there's something very comforting to me. If I'm gonna drink, take NyQuil, there's something comforting to me about the flavor and the way it feels going down.
Also,
it's true.
That cherry versus the green one that has that licorice flavor kill me now.
No,
that
why is anyone under 70 buying the green flavor? like NyQuil, like horrifying.
They're like, it's absinthe flavored. You'll love it. Gross.
Absinthe doesn't taste good. Nobody's drinking absinthe for the flavor. Actually, no, there are those psychopaths who would like the flavor of licorice.
Gross.
Come at me. There's always one person in the office.
Keegan, come at her.
There's always one person in the office who buys the black red vines, and you're like, why?
No. They're called red vines for a reason.
What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
That happened one time, like at the last place I worked. We would have like a big bucket. I don't know why office culture.
Yeah,
there's
we had a big bucket of red vines too. Yeah,
what is that? Because first of all, it's very unsanitary. Did I care? No, but everybody is sticking their whole hand in the bucket of red vines. And so one time, the person who went to do the Costco run to buy the office snacks, everyone would chip in a little bit of money, and then they'd go buy all the office snacks. And he came back with a big bucket, like the giant size of the black ones, the black red vines. And I was like, sir,
no one ever heard from him again.
Yeah, I was like, he's
fired.
like, I like these. I thought it would be fun to mix them up. I'm like, absolutely fucking not. They taste like death. They do taste like death. They're so bad. I don't get it. It's like the same thing. Honestly, if I were going to go on a first date with someone and they were like, how about we sip some Jaeger? I'd be like, I need check, please. We need to get out of here immediately.
No.
Who asked to sip some Jaeger anyway? Wow.
Oh, it's terrible.
I just got an image of somebody in like a smoking jacket.
Yes.
Like
a connoisseur
of Jaeger.
He's got a brandy
connoisseur.
like goblet, just Jaeger.
One ice cube, swirling it around.
The only time Jaeger was even remotely acceptable was when I was like 23 and I had my first Jaeger bomb, which was Jaeger and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Which is like,
God.
Those
flavors
complement each other, but it is bad.
Yeah, I hate it.
So bad and bad for you. Like, were we trying to kill ourselves?
Yeah.
I
actively
haven't had a Jaeger since around the same age, like 23, because I remember doing a shot up at Adobe Gila's after I already had other shots and drinks.
Because that's the only way you have Jaeger.
The shot went down and then went
right back up.
Came right back up.
Yep.
There are few things that I can think of that are worse than Jaeger regurgitated.
Ooh.
Gross.
I hate it.
Absolutely not. It's so nasty. Well, we're now a drink-based podcast, so welcome.
Welcome to the Alcoholics podcast.
Well, dude, 2020, man, everybody's drink intake.
I was literally about to say, when you said Alcoholics podcast, I was like, hey, we spent the beginning talking about Whiteclaws. And I'm like, yeah, there's booze in here. I forgot.
Wow. Wow.
So this is not a LaCroix. This is not a LaCroix. There's alcohol in this. Wow.
Which always reminds me of the story about the woman who posted about her coworker who was bringing in
her
Trulies.
Dad.
No, it was the coworker who was bringing in
That's
Trulies,
right.
and she was like, "Those are alcoholic," and she's like, "No, they're not." Okay.
I thought it was the one where the woman talked about her dad who was like over 60, and she's like, my dad just realized that White Claws have alcohol in them, and he's been drinking one every day on his drive to work. Like, they were LaCroix.
No.
That's amazing.
I have actually stumbled into something that I tried for the first time this week, the Boda box.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Boda box is
Welcome.
Chef's Kiss.
Welcome.
Chef's Kiss. I'm like,
Bienvenue.
Eric, you need to order me a crazy straw. Because one of these days, I just want to stick this fucking one of those crazies.
Adult juice box. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Surprisingly decent wine. Like, I'm not saying it's like great. Okay.
No.
But like for box wine.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's not bad.
It'll do.
It'll do.
Yeah, it'll do. And it is a little dangerous, though, because you don't realize how much you've gone through.
It's not like a bottle. Right. And you're like, oh, shit, this has lasted 3 days. Whoops. Oops.
Oh, man. That shit, that is good.
That's how we ended the night last night, actually, is we took the Boda box sack out of the box and literally were like,
yep.
Did I ever
that last bit?
So I did a show with my theater company like years ago, And like one of the props was an adult juice box. So it was a like Franzia box of wine that they had like stuck crazy straws in and they were drinking out of. And we obviously weren't trying to drink on stage, although we did do that a few times. Don't tell anybody. But
your secret's safe here.
Safe here on this podcast.
On this podcast, which anyone can listen to. Cool.
Well, it's behind us and we're not getting on stage anytime soon. So come at me. But so we needed this box as like a prop. And so they were like, well, you know, we got to take the bag o' wine out of the middle of it. And so I just had a loose bag of wine.
Just like
sitting
an
on a
IV
shelf.
drip.
Yes. And Anthony didn't want to drink it. So I'm drinking this like Franzia Chardonnay for months, like it's for so long because it's actually like so much wine.
Yeah.
And I had to eventually commit myself. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, Keegan, every night you have to have at least one glass of the Franzia Chardonnay to make it through this bag. There is nothing that will make you feel more like your life has gone in a direction you did not expect than standing and trying to squeeze out wine from a bag.
Oh yeah.
Into like out of the little spout.
This is where we're at, guys. This is where we are.
We weren't even in the quarantine at that point. That's what happens when
any
you're
bad
25.
story I tell from now on will always have taken place in 2020.
And everyone will be like, we understand. It's fine.
Of course.
Don't even worry about it. Well, okay. So speaking of that, bad decisions that have been made in 2020.
Oh God.
I saw this on Instagram and I was like, I must learn more because there should really be a rom-com made with this premise.
Okay.
And I'm a little disappointed that we don't have more information about how this ended. So in Oregon, there was a man who was driving a stolen car and the chase ended with police when he crashed in to a woman who was also driving a stolen car.
No.
Meet cute. Meet cute. That's right. I'm like, can these two get married immediately?
I see it already.
This train wreck.
It's what's her name from Saturday Night Live? Kristen Wiig and
you know what the guy
Bill Hader. Bill Hader.
Bill Hader's great. Bill Hader is great. I love that. No, and actually, like her mugshot. Low key, why does it look like
she's
it could
cute.
be on her like Tinder dating profile? Like I'm like,
she might put it up there.
you look pretty good actually. But I was like, man, what are the chances? Why are these two not getting together? And actually the answer is probably because it would be
they're
a
in jail.
fucking nightmare.
Right. I
Also,
hate that. It's probably a terrible idea.
yeah, you probably shouldn't marry someone who you like, you know.
Yeah. No, but it does seem like kismet.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? What are the chances?
Well, speaking of shit that's making me smile right now, first of all, our Facebook page is just chock full of the best shit, always. But my favorite thing that happens is that people really, really get us. They know how much we love our horoscopes. We know how much we love our horoscopes in fantastically, wildly dumb ways. My favorite current one that has been posted is your signs as troubled birds. Mine is this really cute bluebird, and it says, I'm 3 ounces of whoop ass.
Yes,
which is fucking
so cute.
I think Capricorn might be my favorite. Hold on, let me find it real quick. It is fucking hilarious.
Capricorns are always gems. Oh my God, it's a grumpy owl.
It's a fucking grumpy owl, and it says, God can't help you now. And Keegan Pisces is this blackbird.
Or a raven.
I feel witchcraft upon me.
Oh, accurate. Oh, so true. I mean, I'm basically a garden witch now. I told somebody that. Like that's basically, I'm pinning ways to make like my own apothecary. Like, what can I grow to make basically a DIY herbal apothecary? I'm gonna start making tinctures. Yes. Like, not even really kidding. And I'm like, I want to grow my own tea garden. Yeah. Like, I want to grow all of my own herbs.
I love this journey for you.
I
really do.
I want a peppermint. I remember in our backyard we had peppermint growing, and every summer we would just go out. My mom would make porch tea, like sun tea.
Yes, sun tea.
And we would go out and we would pick fresh peppermint like from the stock and like put it in with it. It was awesome.
So good. And I love just the look of like, so I had you can dry herbs one of two ways. You can either like put them on a low setting in the oven and dry them out that way, which is an easier way to get them nice and crispy, or because I just like the aesthetic of it, you can bunch them up and hang them from strings from your ceiling. And I'm just like, Anthony is determined to just ruin my goals of becoming that weird old lady. When I was in Springfield, there was a house, and it actually went on sale while I was out here, and man, was I tempted. There was a house that was like an old Victorian house that somebody who lived there had painted black with a red door.
Oh,
and
shit.
I was like, when I'm old, I want to be the mysterious old lady that lives in that house, like the black Victorian house with the red door, who's like just growing herbs hanging everywhere. You know what I mean?
She's a witch.
Yes. I want there to be folklore in the town surrounding my existence. I want little kids to dare themselves to knock on my front door.
On Halloween.
That's what I want. And Anthony, I told him, I'm like, I want a witch house. I need you to buy me a Victorian house with a wood-burning fireplace. Yeah. Like, this is what I need. And he's like, absolutely not.
No.
He's like, I want a house made in 2020 that's all glass and concrete.
Same.
That's it.
Dude.
Why can't you let me have my dream?
Let me live my life.
Like, we're going to have houses across the street from each other. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, there's so many people now that are doing that kind of thing, though. Like married couples that have like separate houses.
I ain't mad at it, honestly. You know what? I would like two houses next door to each other that are connected by a breezeway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a hallway.
Yeah.
So you can visit each other, but you can both have what you want, because I like a cozy witch aesthetic. And Anthony likes a very clean, sterile, minimalist aesthetic. Like we're very different in that way. So, yeah.
Chris and I have very similar styles, so we're pretty lucky in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know my style yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. So
I am too,
sure.
actually. I like a mix of things. I do. I just think when I get old, I'm projecting that I'm going to be different than I am now, and it's going to be all shawls. Just Stevie Nicks shawls all the time. A lot of spinning around, you know?
I do often think about like, what is my old lady aesthetic going to be? And I see myself as like the Iris Opfel.
You want like big glasses,
totally.
thick frames.
I see that for myself.
I love that.
Yeah,
I was watching a documentary recently, and I was like, "That's who I want to be." They were interviewing a woman, and she's a Black woman, and she was like in like very loose, comfy, like earth toned clothes, and she had dreadlocks, and I was like, "That's the time."
Yep, that's
for me. When I get old, that's when I'm gonna like lock my hair.
Yep.
Her skin looked amazing. I don't know what she's doing. Probably a lot of yoga. I'm into it.
Nice. Well, speaking of skin,
oh yeah, you tried out the new stuff?
Curology. Yeah, it's awesome so far. I'm really liking it. So
great.
Not that this is an ad for them, but you know,
so many people getting free promo on this show.
I know, man. We need to lock it up.
But so far, so good.
So far, so good. My skin journey has just been, I never had like bad skin as a teenager or anything, but when I moved from Columbus to Miami back in the day, this would be like 15 years ago, I just started breaking out. I've had adult acne pretty terribly since then. And it's gotten progressively better, but then it got really bad again a couple years ago when I went off of hormonal birth control. And it's just, you know, trying to get that under control. I've even thought about like, I think this is my last ditch effort before I try like Accutane or something that's like, you know, a medicine that you take.
Dermatology.
Yeah.
Or dermatologist.
Yeah.
I used to follow this woman on YouTube. I think she went by the Taylor before, and now she's like Taylor Wynn or something on YouTube. But when I first started following her, she had cystic acne. Like that was kind of her thing. And she'd been on YouTube for like 5 years, and her acne was bad, like really, really bad. And she finally went on Accutane. Her skin is amazing. Like it looks incredible now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is she even was like really hesitant to start that because it is kind of a more extreme step in that, like, you're putting something, careful. You have to be careful. You're putting something in your body, your face, your skin's going to become more sensitive, like all that stuff. But for her, at least, it worked. Like it really worked.
I see. I'm just such a minimalist on makeup and stuff like that. Like I would just love to get to the point where like I don't have to wear makeup.
That's my
goal.
The big thing about makeup is, I mean, as long as you're using clean brushes and clean stuff, your makeup actually protects your skin throughout the day. So I
hate wearing it. I'm not a makeup person. I'm not a jewelry person. I don't like it. I wear it right now out of necessity so that people aren't like, are you okay? you look really tired.
First of all, people need to keep those fucking comments to themselves. I hate that. Like, are you feeling all right? It's like, yes, this is just my face. Thank you.
Like, I just want to be as beautiful as Alicia Keys so that
is how I feel. Like I'm kind of with you on like my skin is just doing something really weird right now. It's not bad, like it's not like breaking out super bad. It's just like I don't know if it's because we're spending so much time inside or like what it is, but it feels very dull. Like it feels very dull and like lackluster, and like the dark circles underneath my eyes seem darker. Like, and I don't know what to do about it because I've grown up with acne. I'm like, acne I can try and find solutions for.
Right, that makes sense.
My current skin problems with like texture problems and like just dullness, I don't know.
And I think also just because there's not a goddamn other thing in the world to do right now, it's become like a rabbit hole that I've gone into. You know, like it's become like a little bit, I don't want to say like obsessive per se, but like because we're inside all the time and there's nothing to do but just like look at your face sometimes in the mirror when I'm getting ready, and you just like start nitpicking. So I'm also worried a little bit about going down like a really negative rabbit hole in that regard.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and this is really embarrassing to admit, but the amount of time that I've spent on like Instagram just scrolling through all of the filters because you can like save filters that people use, right? And the amount of time that I've spent like looking at all those filters, it actually got me to thinking about how they're fun. They're very fun and they're cool, but how potentially damaging they are for young people, especially because you do, even for me as like a fully grown woman, like you start to feel like that is what your face is supposed to look like. This like flawless, you know, skin and like all of these things, like that's what you're supposed to look like. And so then when you see yourself without the filter, you feel like something's wrong with you, which there isn't, you know. I don't know. It's hard. It's easy to become really like obsessive about that kind of thing.
Oh, something weird. Are you guys on TikTok?
No.
I have a TikTok, but I'm rarely on it unless somebody like shares something with me.
I'm to the point of core boredom that I said a long time ago. Like I'm so fucking B. Arthur. You know what I mean? I'm like old and set in my ways already. And I was like, I'm not doing another goddamn social media platform. But I don't know. I keep seeing TikTok videos and I'm like, this shit's kind of entertaining. I'm kind of interested.
I feel about TikTok. I am on board with TikTok. I think that it is so creative. I think that it takes so much more patience than just like posting something on Instagram or whatever, because you literally have to come up with an idea, edit it together. Like you have to do all that. And I'm like, I actually think it's very cool. Could it be bad in the wrong hands? Sure.
It makes me think of the all the stuff I liked about Vine.
Yeah,
like I loved Vines. I thought they were hilarious back in the day. I fucking loved Vines so much. So yeah, I'm thinking about downloading a TikTok and getting on board. My 38-year-old ass.
No, it's great. Anthony and I have come up with so many funny ideas that we were like, oh, we could make a TikTok about that. That'd be really funny. You know what I mean? I just think it's great. It's nice that people are kind of like nurturing their creativity during this time. I think that's cool. Like, find your niche.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
Well,
Cassie has ideas.
I have an idea. We did Matthew McConaughey characters, and I love the idea of taking like one actor and picking apart characters they've played.
Okay. Oh God, I'm nervous.
No, you already know what's about to happen. Christina?
Is it?
Well, mine's going to be Tom Cruise if I have a choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Tom Cruise.
I mean, he's had a long career, so
Okay.
there's a lot of characters to choose from.
But he's short in all of them.
Calm down.
I don't always think the characters are short. There have definitely been characters that Tom Cruise has played that I'm like, he is standing on an apple box 100% in this movie. So you can imagine that maybe the character is taller than Tom Cruise himself, and that's what we're gonna have to do here. Because Cassie, God bless you.
Well,
but
I'm going to pick
the
Mission Impossible, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah,
All right.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
Is that his name? Or
No.
Ethan, what's his
Ethan
last
Hawke's
name?
an actor.
Oh.
And now I can't think of his last name. It totally.
Full disclosure, I've never seen
I can't remember.
an entire Mission Impossible movie in my whole life. Like, never.
Wait, not even the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman as the bad guy? Oh.
No, I mean, I've seen them here and there when TNT has been left on at my parents' house or something. I've definitely watched bits and pieces of Mission Impossible. So I have an idea of his character. I do.
Yeah. I like action movies. So I think that, I mean, it hits just like Bourne, and just like.
Oh yeah,
I bet you I
would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Actually, and
really
yes,
good.
I do want to establish we are talking about Tom Cruise characters, not Tom Cruise.
That's right. We have to fuck, marry, kill the characters.
I feel like
Cool.
I feel like Cassie is about to take my head off. Like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a lot of hostile energy coming from.
Do you want to get a plexiglass between us?
I do.
All right. So you're picking that, Chris or Keegan. I'll let you go because I probably have.
I'm actually going to pick because
Eyes Wide Shut. I knew it. I'm just kidding.
I really enjoy a good courtroom drama. And there's something about a lawyer who's like fighting against all the odds that I'm like, ooh, I like that.
Yes.
So I'm going to go A Few Good Men. What?
I've never seen that movie.
No.
I know.
It
I
is
know.
so good.
I know.
See, that is my
movie is
jam.
so
if
good.
action movies are your jam, Cassie,
Yeah.
mine courtroom dramas.
Courtroom
all
dramas.
fucking day.
And it's like a military courtroom drama. And he plays baseball in it. So you get to see him in baseball pants. He actually is cute in it. Demi Moore is in it. Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you haven't seen it. Do you want me to pick something else?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm here for it. I know enough about it. It's enough in the zeitgeist at the time to have known.
Tom Cruise in a Navy uniform.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I'm a bit torn. I mean, we got Jerry Maguire. We got Eyes Wide Shut. We got Lestat.
We've got
Vampire
Top
Lestat.
Gun.
Which we've done before.
Top Gun.
We've done
Exactly.
Lestat
Top Gun was
before.
where I was going. I was kind of between Top Gun and what was the first one I just said? Wow.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Thank you.
No, it was before Eyes Wide Shut. I actually liked the first one that you had just said.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry
is
Maguire.
good.
Also, Far and Away. That's one of my
I've never
favorites.
seen Far and
I'm not
Away,
going to do
but-
that one because I know you guys haven't seen it. But
young
it's
Tom.
love. He's so good in it.
We've done Lestat before, and you haven't, but
feel like
we've done Top Gun before with Jamie Janik. A week you were out of town.
What about Jerry Maguire? Did we not do him on
We
Jerry Maguire?
haven't.
No.
All right. I'll do Jerry Maguire.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Christina, you go.
Okay. I am going to. God damn. All right.
It's hard.
I'm gonna fuck Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise.
Wise.
He's got so many gadgets.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
is also like seems like the type that wouldn't get attached or anything like that.
Well, he's a busy man.
Nice,
he doesn't have time to get attached.
No.
You got to get a quick in and out situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck him in that. That's
Ethan Hunt.
Ethan
okay,
Hunt.
so Ethan Hunt.
I was
Mr. Hunt.
Close. I was close.
Yeah.
Mr. Hunt.
So yeah, he's going to call. Yeah, Mr. Hunt is going to call you like when he's in your city. Like you just need to clear your calendar because he's going to call you like that day and be like, and it's going to be like you're fucking like you're having one drink for just just
you
under
meet,
the guise of like,
at
hey,
the
we
bar.
need to.
You don't even say hi. It's just like
It's just whiskey shot with one ice cube.
Yeah.
Over fast.
For some reason, you're wearing a slinky emerald green dress.
Yeah.
For no reason in the in the Hilton lounge area. Yeah.
oh geez. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I am going to I'm gonna marry Few Good Men. I love an idealistic fucking fighter for morality, and I just feel like we could talk about the current administration and like everything that's wrong with you know what I mean.
You
like,
hope he falls on your side. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just liked him. He was a fighter. He's super cute in that movie too.
He is. He is very cute.
Huh. Interesting.
But then I gotta kill Jerry Maguire. He's just like, even though he had the turnaround and became like a real person, it just like seems like work. It seems like a project.
But to be honest, I have to say I think that A Few Good Men, Tom Cruise, and Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise are both work.
Very similar.
They are similar.
Yeah.
They have like similar vibes. They both have that kind of like arc where they have to like come around because they're hot-headed or whatever. Oh, gosh, it makes it difficult. Man, I don't know. I think
I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna marry Ethan Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're a jet setter, and you're fine if he goes out of town.
That's
for
what
a
I was
couple
gonna say.
months
You
on
might like it.
Dangerous mission.
You might like
I'm
that.
probably on my own dangerous mission. We're probably like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Don't even know it.
Ooh.
Sexy.
My favorite game to play currently is Chris thinks, because I travel so much for work, I like to joke that am I joking that I'm in the CIA?
I like to joke. Wink,
Wink,
wink.
wink.
Wink, wink.
I'm like, Chris, be quiet about it. Don't say anything, right?
I mean, you could be.
You don't know.
We wouldn't know.
I'm not. As I like to say to Chris and wink. Of course not, Chris. So yes, Ethan Hunt. I'm going to marry him. I am going to fuck A Few Good Men.
Of the two, for fucking purposes, that's the better option.
Yeah. It seems way less vanilla. Oh my God, why didn't I pick Cocktail?
Oh, you love Cocktail. You really do. We'll do a round 2 sometime.
There's so many good ones.
Tom Cruise round 2. I promise, Cassie. We'll give you a round 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think I am going to do like Christina did, because I do feel like super secret spy sex is probably the most hot and sexy sex that you're gonna have.
Yeah, like he picked up like a weird tongue trick in Morocco. You know what I mean?
And
did.
Just the excitement of like having a fuck buddy like that, where like you don't know when they're going to be in town, and like I'm already feeling it, like the excitement of getting that text message that's like, hey, meet for drinks tonight at this place. You'd be like, fuck yes.
I've been waiting. Wear that red satin gown again.
Exactly. I've been waiting all year for you to text me. So I'm on board with that. I think that that's going to be a really fun time. Lots of hotel sex, which, as we know, is the freakiest kind.
Yeah. It's the best.
Drive it like it's a rental.
That's right. That's right.
And that's how you're going to drive Ethan Hunt. Just like a rental.
Yep. Till the wheels fall off. So I'm on board with that. God, it's really difficult to say who I would want to marry. And here's why. I I have worked very hard to become a more zen human being. But I feel like my default setting, I will debate you about anything.
Yeah.
if I feel strongly enough about it, I will have a debate. My family likes to debate. You're choosing
between two lawyers.
Right, exactly. Right. And I do feel like A Few Good Men is a more impassioned lawyer, which would mean if we're on the same page, amazing. If we're not, explosive, right? Yeah. Like might have some arguments there. But then, you know what? Okay, I'm going to marry A Few Good Men because I feel like he is more passionate, which, yes, could be more difficult, but is also more exciting. So the good times are going to be really good. So I'm going to marry him. And then, yeah, I'm going to kill Jerry Maguire.
We have all killed Jerry Maguire.
And you know what? I love that movie.
I know.
I like that movie a lot. No shade on that. Just for me, it is a little too white bread, you know?
Yeah.
A little too vanilla.
Also, can we talk about how fucking cute that kid is in that movie?
Limp Nicky. You know, he grew up and became like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Isn't that crazy?
But dude,
the
little
human
kids
head weighed 8 pounds.
With glasses. I can't.
Big glasses. Big glasses. And has Renee Zellweger ever been cuter? It's the cutest she's ever been.
So good.
Yeah.
Speaking of, real quickly, I was like, what did I watch this week? What I was going to save? And I was going to save one of these for that. But since we're talking about kids in showbiz, I want to talk about Showbiz Kids.
I haven't watched it, but I heard it's great.
It is great.
Wow.
What? It is. Yikes on bikes.
Well, yeah.
It is. I mean, how do you... Dude, Will Wheaton talking about being like pretty much fucking forced into by his mom. Like, it is wild.
Yeah, stage parents. Whoa. They're for real.
It's whoa.
Yeah, I do want to watch it. But I mean, this is all stuff that, like, we know, like, and we see it now. Speaking of TikTok, I know this is taking a turn, but speaking of TikTok, like, I'm starting to see it with some of these, like, TikTok stars, quote unquote. Like, they're like 16-year-olds who are going to parties. Like, I'm seeing, you know, Charlie D'Amelio or whatever her name is. She's like 16. She's a TikTok star. She's like going to parties with YouTubers that they're all putting on their Instagram stories, and they're all grown fucking adults, like grown adults, and you've got like a 16-year-old at this party. It's going to be a very similar vibe. We'll see what happens in 20 years when all of these Vine stars, TikTok stars, YouTube stars grow up, and it's a version of that same thing. Interesting.
Messy.
Messy.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
This is My Worst Date. I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Christina.
Yes.
We did it.
We did it.
And after these messages, we'll be right back.
Bye.
At Pennzoil, we have one job. Pioneering a motor oil so advanced, you don't have to think about your motor oil. Instead, you can think about how your engine sounds, how your stomach feels as the RPMs build, how your wheels hug the curves, and how, with the Pennzoil Platinum up to 15-year, 500,000-mile protection guarantee, your adventures will be many. Pennzoil. Long may we drive. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details.
And we're back. Christina is the crazy in love, so she's going to kick us off.
That's right. And I am sharing one that we got in our emails from Katie. And the subject is so high school.
Oh yes.
Yay. Perfect.
My favorite.
Perfect.
She says, "Hey, worsties. This one isn't technically a worst date story as such, but it does make me giggle from time to time when I remember it. It's a story from my first year in high school."
So you're 14, picture it.
Just a baby.
Oh, yeah. I had just moved to a new town in Darwin, the Northern Territory, Australia. It was a smallish school, and I began making friends quickly with a couple of girls in my class. These girls were awesome and made the time I spent there memorable. Their names were Sarah and Caitlin. Sarah started dating this guy in our class called Caleb. Caleb was close friends with 2 other guys called Ash and Kelvin.
Okay.
Ash.
Wow.
This is a lot. This is very high school.
Yes. Caleb is friends with Ash and Kelvin. Got it.
Yes. We all started spending a lot of time together so that Sarah and Caleb could spend time together without having to tell their families.
That is incredibly high school. We've all been there. We've all been there. It's a group hangout. It's not a date.
It's a group effort. It takes a village to date when you're a teen.
Yes. It does. You need moral support at every turn. You really do.
It didn't take long for the rest of us to basically pair up. Caitlin with Ash and Kelvin with me. Side note.
So there's a Caitlin and a Katie. Okay.
Yeah. Side note, none of us were allowed to date. Well, yeah, they're like 14.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to date at 14 either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kelvin and I caught the same bus home each day, and we started sitting closer to one another. Not really talking, but there was enough tension there to make things exciting.
Can we pause? I just want to say really fast to any high school listeners that we have, which I don't know how many we actually have, but enjoy. I know it's awkward and it feels like so weird, but you are never going to have, I feel like such an old lady, but you are never going to have those same feelings. Like, yes, you go on dates and you have butterflies and like as an adult, you all of that stuff, new relationships, you get all of that stuff, but you don't get the same kind of like
that dopamine hit is not the same.
It's not the same as like,
it is a drug.
Is sitting next to me. Yeah.
It's a drug, and your first hit of that drug is always going to be the most powerful.
You're chasing that dragon for the rest of your life. You're chasing that, oh my gosh, we held hands under a pillow at church camp high for the rest of your life.
So at one point, Kelvin asked for my help reading something for him as he couldn't understand what the book was talking about. I read ahead and then refused to repeat it as he was reading erotic fiction.
No. Oh my God. That is such a high school boy thing to do. Like in the mind of a high school boy, this made perfect sense. Yeah. He's like, this is how I am going to turn her on. I am going to pretend like I don't know what's happening in this book. And then she's going to read it and then we're going to fuck. Like that's hot. For sure what he was thinking.
He teased me about not reading aloud on the crowded bus, but eventually gave up as he realized I wasn't going to do it. He called my house, I think that night, and half-assed apologized before talking some more, eventually asking me what I was wearing.
Okay,
sweetheart.
Sir.
You're
pajamas.
14. You're 14.
My pajamas have Care Bears on them.
Yes. Oh my God.
Come on.
I have rainbow bright sheets.
No, like sweetie. Like, and also, did you learn about like dating from staying up late and watching your parents' HBO? Like, you're like, what are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
Some Red Shoe
Footy
Diary
pajamas.
Shit. My 13-year-old brain was like, my uniform, because I just got home from school, not realizing at the time he was jacking off on the other end of the phone. He replied with something like,
I take it all back. Everything I just said about like, cherish
falling
these
in
moments.
love.
No.
Yeah.
Take it all back.
No. Oh, yeah. And what are you wearing under it? At this stage, I realized he didn't call me to get to know me and that he was just being a creep. I told him I wasn't interested in that sort of conversation.
He's being a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Like, classic.
Yeah. He should talk about something else or I need to get off the phone. From memory, he said something like, well, I'll just see you at school then. And then we hung up.
Awkward. Great. Can't wait to see you in the hallway, Kelvin.
Kelvin. The following day, he didn't really talk to me at all, but I could see him talking with his friends about me as they kept looking over.
Great.
At lunch, my girlfriends and I sat separately from the guys, but within eyesight of each other. Can you just imagine the conversation too? The girl conversation?
I want a split screen. Like if I was a director, we're going back and forth. We're doing a tell me more Grease sort of situation.
Close to the end of lunch, I left my friends to go to the bathrooms. Whilst in the stall, I could hear the guys talking outside the bathroom blocks about me. They were talking about where they were going to stand and how they were going to get me so good.
Okay, wait, what?
Wow, they're fucking idiots too.
I was terrified, and I just knew I had to get out of there ASAP, as there's only one door in and out of the bathroom. I opened my stall door cautiously and made a break for the exit, knowing that the guys were coming after me. Kelvin came around the exit with an open carton of eggs in one hand and Caleb beside him. Caleb threw one in my general direction and ran out of the block, missing me completely. Kelvin threw a couple, also missing me. He backed up almost to the exit when he ended up dropping the carton and losing his eggs to the ground. He was still blocking the exit, so I mustered my courage and I punched him in the cheek.
Yeah. Fuck these kids. Honestly, again, I feel like such an old lady, but I'm going to call your mom. If that shit happened, seriously, if that happened to my like little sister, I would go call his mom. And
the equivalent of 911.
Yeah, exactly.
He staggered and mumbled something like, "You bitch," which is what every guy says. Anyways, before I hit him again. This time, I threw as much of my weight behind it like you see in the movies. He just about fell back against the door, and I was able to push my way through. Ash and Caleb were waiting outside the block to throw more eggs at me, but thankfully, I ran through them and came out unscathed.
What little assholes. Like, who the fuck? And by the way,
where did you get eggs at school?
They must have brought them. This is premeditated. And then, like, also, Sister Solidarity, her friends need to drop those boys. I hope that's how this ends.
Yeah, I ran to my classroom just as the bell rang, and I informed my friends about what had happened. None of us went to the bathroom alone after that. I think it's safe to say our relationship ended that day. Kelvin's cheek was red and a bit swollen after that, but thankfully he never talked to me again or called. I'm pretty sure he told people he walked into a door to avoid the humiliation of being punched by a girl. I guess I must have hurt his ego when I didn't want to have phone sex with him, because I can't think of anything else that could warrant ganging up on a 13-year-old girl. No, that's
exactly what that is. Wow. What fragile fucking egos.
Yeah, dude. Freaking I do actually remember like incidents of like retaliation at that age, like when you didn't like a boy. Like I do remember learning how to couch rejection to protect myself from fragile egos.
Yeah, we all learned that at some point. I mean, I don't feel like I got as much of that in high school, just because like no one was trying to date me in high school. But every woman learns that like when they become an adult, like that a way to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. I've had so many men ask me,
a man. What's your man got to do with me?
Yeah, I've had so many men ask me why women give fake numbers. Like so many like men ask me that, and I'm like, because if they just say they're not interested, there's a possibility of rising violence. So when a woman gives you a soft no, saying like, oh, I don't think so, or like not right now, or any of that stuff, it's because she's protecting herself from giving you a hard no.
That's the thing too. Like how the number of times I mean, we would go to the club and I'd always go with my guy friends because it was the safest way to go. And I mean, the number of times I've had them step in to save me from like some random person, that's ridiculous. Like, why can't I go out and have a good time? Like, why can't I go out and dance and have to worry about how to tell someone no and not be retaliated against? It's insane. It's insane.
Right. I mean, and speaking on like having to go with your guy friends or whatever, or having to say, I have a boyfriend, or like any of these things, it really does indicate that like these men only respect you in relation to your relationship with another man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Like you as an individual, they assume that you should have no reason to say no to them unless you belong to someone else, and then they'll back away. It's
girl, preach
upsetting. Anyway. Okay. Went on a Match.com date to the movies years ago. The guy was immediately sort of creepy, seemed perfectly normal via email, of course, but I traveled a good 45 minutes to get there. 45 minutes, by the way, is always what, like, I want to say that 45 minutes is the amount of time that people use when they're like, an hour sounds extreme.
Right.
Because I'm like, there's no way that
it was definitely more than 30.
All of these people who we've read their dates on this podcast, like 90% of them are like, I drove 45 minutes. And I'm like, really? Everybody lives 45 minutes away from each other. Cool. They're like, I know it's a lot, so I'm just going to say 45 minutes.
Remember when I tried to date that guy that lived outside Silver Lake?
Yes. No. Only in times of quarantine
Wasn't there a
is
guy that lived by the
acceptable.
beach? Ugh. So fucking far.
I mean, right now is your time. If you want to start dating people who don't live near you, right now during the pandemic is your time, because travel is much quicker. But in general, 45 minutes is too long.
Geographically undesirable.
It's too long to drive. So she traveled a good 45 minutes to get there. So I figured I'd at least watch the movie with him and pay for my own ticket. He had this weird look in his eyes that screamed awkward 27-year-old that has never seen a boob and is creepily close to his mother.
Oh, no. I have a very vivid image in my mind of what this guy looks like.
Yes. Was he wearing a t-shirt that had a wolf on it? Because maybe it's the same guy from our Joe Dirt story. I sat down with him and he put his hand on my leg. First of all,
no, thank you.
Forward. I just met you. Keep your hands to yourself. I moved his hand away. He put it back on my leg. I moved it away again. He got the hint, and we watched in silence for a while. Later on in the movie, it was Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Jesus.
Which is also way too long.
I was just going to say, that's like a 4-hour movie. Isn't it? Some wild-ass
so
nonsense.
long, and you've got Jack Black in a safari hat.
Okay. And he's not in Jumanji.
My God. He puts his hand back on my leg, but his fingers moved to my inner thigh.
No, thank you.
No.
Absolutely not.
And also, you've moved his hand several times now. Like, what the fuck? I feel like I should have the right to cut it off now. Thank God I was wearing pants and not a skirt. I quickly moved his hand and told him not to touch me again or I'd get up and leave. He sort of chuckled and rolled his eyes and put his hand back on my leg.
I'm going to break your fucking face.
Bye.
I slapped his hand, stormed out of the theater, and he followed right after me going, What? What did I do?
I just fucking told you what the fuck you did. Why do I have to? Oh.
Did you think I was playing a game? Did you think me saying no meant try harder and eventually I'll relent? Is that what you thought?
Ugh.
I fucking hate this person.
I hate him. I had no intention of saying anything else to him. No need to say anything else to him. You'd already told him everything you needed to tell him.
That's right.
So when I was about halfway through the lobby, he put his hand on my shoulder and tried to stop me. I quietly told him that if he didn't back off and stop following me, I'd make a scene and that I had no intention of associating with him again. He, of course, grabs my wrist.
I wish a motherfucker would.
He has violated her personal space in about 125 different ways.
I hope your story ends the way the first one did, where he gets punched in the fucking face.
Yeah. So I screamed at the top of my lungs, "Get the fuck away from me." The whole place paused and looked at us, and some big guys close by got that stance that said that if he touched me again, they'd probably kick his ass for me. I got out of there, went home, and he emailed and texted me no less than 10 times a day for the next month.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Imagine.
Buy a clue.
The entitlement. I do want to say, like, it sucks that it takes men to step in these situations, but thank God for men who will step in a situation like this, because sometimes that's the only language these motherfuckers speak for real.
Also, we've talked about it on the podcast because it's happened to me a couple of times where you don't block somebody. And Keegan, we've talked about it where it's like you're so scared of somebody that you almost want to know what they're up to.
Yeah,
you'd be like, scary. Why didn't she just like block him? It's like you kind of want to know like where his head's at to know like do I need to take additional steps? Like, contact
are there
Absolutely.
signs of escalating violence?
Because if he can't contact me in this way, what will he do to contact me?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
Where you could just let him spin himself off, like spin himself out by like texting you 10 times a day for a month, and hopefully he'll get that shit out of his system. But also, it's just hard to know, like, maybe he'll get it out of his system, or maybe it'll get worse. Like, there's no right or wrong way to handle it. You know?
Ugh. God.
Okay, well, mine's not violent.
That's good.
So
that's a relief.
Well, and on a non-violent note, back around 2013, 2014, I attended a lot of conventions and knew this one really awesome girl, fellow gamer, loved cosplay and all that. She was also a part of one of the smaller convention communities and an organizer for another event. She ends up adding me on a couple of social media sites, and we talk for a while after the most recent event. I think it was like Anime Boston at the time. After a few weeks, she invited me over to her place to hang out and get lunch. All right, cool. This sounds like an awesome time, and we have some fun and stuff and have hobbies in common. I show up, give her a call from the car and say, I'm here. She tells me, come on in. She's just with her mother at the moment, putting something
already.
Getting something
I'm like,
ready.
We just met. I'll sit in the car until your mom leaves. I'm good. I'll come back, actually. I'm going to run to the store. I'll buy a bottle of wine. Like,
cool.
I don't want to meet your mom right now. I don't. That was something in Indian matchmaking. I was like, can we not meet the whole family right away?
Exactly. I don't understand. Like, I get it that people are tight with their family, but like, why don't you understand that that's like, that can be very stressful for people.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? It's like they're already stressed out about meeting you or whatever.
Yes. You don't know yet if the person you're trying to date likes you. Let alone like...
Well, I think they'd actually met each other before, and it seems like, you know, being in the communities like that, I don't know, maybe he already kind of felt a familiarity with her because of that. Maybe they already had kind of a little bit of a kinship or something.
Yeah, and I guess it is also different. Like, we live in LA, and it's a much bigger place. And I do remember living in like Missouri. I feel like meeting people's family members maybe weren't as big a deal because it's like the towns were smaller. I don't know. I still don't love it, but okay.
At any rate, okay, pull the keys out of the ignition, head to the door. I see her, and who I assume is her mother, next to a couch with a couple folding chairs and one of those old 6-foot-long folding plastic tables. This is odd. Mother notices me and gestures me inside. Told to just go ahead and grab a seat on the couch and asked if I'd like a drink. Sure, water would be wonderful. Mother grabs the water and comes back. This is a
group situation. I'm already like, why is there a big table? Why? Who else is coming?
Comes back, hands it to me, and starts talking about her daughter and how she's working with her now, and it's such a great thing. Smile, nod, act interested, etc. Figuring this is going to be the usual little parental introduction most people do when they first meet you. Nope. 5 minutes into this conversation, she pulls away an Amway brochure from the table and tells her daughter to try practicing her sales pitch on me.
Stop.
The hell?
Oh my God.
No,
absolutely not.
I'm a captive audience.
I have an aunt who has just gotten into an MLM, and the number of like Facebook messaging requests, and like, she's my aunt and like, I want to support her, but I'm like, absolutely not. No,
thank you. I'm now a captive audience trying to figure out how I've fallen for some kind of new mother-daughter Amway scam. The daughter doesn't seem overly enthusiastic about it, and I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be a small hiccup. Wrong. Here I am about an hour later, and now she's full swing into the sales pitch, trying to ask if I know anyone that'd be interested in Amway, selling, purchasing, marketing, etc.
Would it be awkward if I rolled off of this couch and just continued rolling
to my car
out the door? Just could I snake? Could I army crawl?
I couldn't stop myself. I start trying to disengage from this. And now the mother is getting involved, telling me about the tiers and how her daughter's sales figures could really improve her cosplay funding and all that.
Is there anything more awkward than sitting through an MLM pitch? We have all done it. We've all been there.
Yep.
Is there anything more uncomfortable?
No, it's the worst. It's the fucking worst. Especially if it's a date.
There was a regular at the restaurant who kept asking servers if and he's like projected like that he's super successful or whatever. He's like, come meet with me. You know, I've got like an employment, opportunity. I think you guys would be really interested. He's trying to fucking poach servers from the restaurant to be MLMs.
No.
I hate it.
Did I tell you about but did I tell you guys about the guy I met at Starbucks one time? He was like a very good looking man, actually. He was like kind of like a big, like built guy. And he like started talking to me at Starbucks, which should have been a red flag. He like sat down at my table. I'm like on my lunch break. I'm like, I'm trying to do work or whatever. And I would go there every day to work on podcast stuff. And he started talking to me. And he was like, me and my wife, he showed me pictures of his kids. Like, it was like very fast. And he was basically like, we can help you become successessy. Like we can help you become successful. Gave me that whole thing.
Motherfucker, how do you know I'm not successful?
I don't know why, because I have no spine, or didn't. And somehow he got my phone number off me. He called me and like just talked to me about like, where's my life at? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Like, what do I want to do for my life? It was
like, he's your goddamn life coach.
I kind of like turned him down like very softly and then like ghosted the fuck out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then because I went to the Starbucks every day,
he came back.
Ran into him. Yeah, it was so uncomfortable. Like it just Starbucks. Horrible.
Yuck. About an hour later, my phone rings. It's a younger sibling that has a flat tire or something trivial and wants my help. Realizing I am not at my house at the moment, I quickly apologize, say something came up and need to get going. I book it out of there and drive the 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not buying it.
Yep. 45 minutes back to see my sibling, change the tire or whatever, and then buy them lunch for getting me the heck out of there.
Yeah,
never talk to that girl again.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, you're like, oh, thanks so much. You're like, no.
Never talk to the girl again after that. Either aside from the a Facebook message here and there asking how I was doing, but never mentioning the Amway trap again.
Listen, I get the appeal of MLMs. I understand it. And especially with so many people being in a difficult financial situation right now, and trying to find ways to independently make money. I understand the appeal. But first of all, my personal stance is that MLMs are predatory.
Yes.
Yes, totally.
They're not, you think they're going to help you, but it's only like 1% of people in MLMs who actually make money doing it.
And you're not that person.
It's very unlikely that you're going to be that person. And then I have known people who've had relationships ruined because of people who won't stop pushing their products. So,
and losing so much money.
Yeah.
Well, are you guys ready for my crazy in love?
Yeah.
Totes.
I am. I told you guys last week that I went on a 2020 binge. And so that's where I got the majority of the information from this story. There's also a great Washington Post article. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the abduction of Elizabeth Thomas.
Okay.
So this takes place just a few years ago. This is recent. So this story will become familiar to you because it was motherfucking everywhere.
Shit.
It's all over people. So I know
I
you
want
know
to say
it,
this
Cassie.
is the one that they just did on, or not just did, but a while back they did it on MFM.
Oh, okay.
I think. Oh, maybe
no.
not? Oh,
No.
okay.
I don't think so. No.
All right.
Okay. So, the Elizabeth Thomas is from a small town in Tennessee called Colioca. It's very difficult. There's like 5,000 people in the town. everybody knows everybody.
Everybody in Tennessee is like, excuse me, you pronounced that wrong.
Exactly.
It's Texas or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So Elizabeth Thomas is actually like homeschooled. She is one of 5 siblings, and her mother, Kimberly Thomas, is really abusive. So much so that the kids actually petition like CPS, like, please, like, our mother is crazy.
Which it's bad if the kids are like advocating for themselves. Yeah.
Oh no.
And so they did have a father too, but the mom was staying at home homeschooling the kids, and the father was working like full time and then some as an exterminator, trying to provide for the 5 kids. So he wasn't home. His excuse at the time was like he had no idea how bad it was. Anywho.
Okay.
Oh, but the point is, like, at that point, they basically remove the mother from the home and make the kids go to school. So she is 15 and coming from a place of, like, some of the charges leveled against Kimberly is, like, she would make the kids, like, strip naked randomly and was, like, physically abusive to them. So this girl who had never been to school before all of a sudden starts school at 15.
Wow. Can you imagine?
No.
Oh.
So one of her teachers, because it is a very small school, is just like everybody's favorite teacher, Tad Cummings. He's like,
God, here we go.
Tad
is just everyone. He's the health teacher. And he's just super like friendly with the kids,
what
and
if he's
everybody
super nice,
loves him.
And me and Cassie are over here like, fuck Tad, like already.
No,
he's the one who saves her, and we're like,
trust your gut.
Okay, yeah, he sounds like a piece of shit.
So, yeah, it's like, okay.
Beware of teachers who are. I mean, I don't want to say
friendly
that,
with students.
There are good teachers who are just like they've learned to communicate with kids and like. Good for them, but I don't know if I've learned anything from ABC family shows. It's like that teacher, that's suspicious if he's too
friendly,
too close.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so she like basically is turns to him as sort of a counselor, which a lot of kids did. He was like kind of a de facto counselor, and you know, she's like, I just feel really low. I feel really depressed. Like my mental health is deteriorating.
And he's like, great. Easy prey. That's what that is. He's like, are you vulnerable? And you don't know what adult child teacher
relationships
are supposed to look like? Great. Cool.
Yeah. So he's like, no, you shouldn't take medications because it'll change who you are and you're perfect. Like, here's a Bible. Come with me and my wife to church. Like, so she would hang out at their house or whatever. And Tad's wife was like, yeah, she was like our third daughter, you know.
I remember this story. I think we maybe even talked about it a couple of years ago, like early on in our podcast days.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. No, just wait until you hear the details, though. Okay, so she's turning to him more and more, and like they develop like a close like father-daughter relationship is what she thinks it is, until one day they're in his classroom and he tells her, you know, I think you'd look really good naked.
No.
And then grabs her face and kisses her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I hate this.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, and I'll talk more about this at the end. There are a lot of people in that small town who are like, she went with him willingly.
Complicit.
Fucking
I'm sorry, she's 15.
She's 15.
Fuck
she
you.
is a fucking child.
Fuck you. She's a
vulnerable child.
And he's her teacher. So there's a power dynamic at play as well. I fucking hate this. I hate this. I hate fucking adults doing this shit. Like, why are you bending over backwards, tying yourself in knots, doing all kinds of mental gymnastics to justify the bad behavior of this grown fucking man? Why not just admit that he's a grown fucking man who didn't have to do this?
I'm about to break into another Whiteclaw.
Look, me too.
Dude, get another Whiteclaw.
I mean, did we not just have a high school story where a bunch of like 14-year-old boys egged a girl? Like, do you think that cognitively they are developed in any real way? No. Like, why would you assume? It's okay. Anyway,
thanks. Right. I hate it.
So, like, he has her number and he is just constantly in contact with her. Like, he's following her on like Instagram and stuff, and if she doesn't post or doesn't respond to his texts and stuff like that, he gets really possessive and it's like, I don't know what I'd do if you started like dating a boy or whatever, and starts
manipulative, highly manipulative,
pulling her aside in his classroom or whatever when no one else is in there to like kiss her, and they get spotted by a 12-year-old student, like reports it. And Elizabeth has said that she didn't report it. She didn't say anything because he was everybody's favorite teacher. She didn't want to get bullied at school or whatever.
I don't think she needs to justify herself in any way. Exactly. In any way, she doesn't owe me anything, because even if it hadn't been that, even if he hadn't been their favorite teacher, she has never been to school before. As someone who is homeschooled, I don't paint all homeschooled people with the same brush. No. I know like lots of homeschooled people end up having very vibrant social lives, but it doesn't sound like that was her situation. It sounds like her mom isolated those kids. Right. She didn't go to school. She's not as socially developed as everybody else. And even if she had been, he is 50 and she is 15. Like
she was looking for a mentor. She was looking for help and looking for protection. And this motherfucker.
He preyed on that. And he preyed on that.
He preyed on it. So the 12-year-old reports it to the school, and the school kind of asks the teacher, and he denies it. He's like, no, we have like a father-daughter relationship, which also fucking inappropriate.
Gross. Don't like it.
Honestly. Nope. It's inappropriate even
you're
for that.
Teacher. You have a position and a role that you're paid to do, and father is not that position.
And she denies it too. And so they let him take her on a field trip, like with the rest of the class, not just her.
No,
but still,
yeah. You know what you do in that case? Like even if you want to trust your teacher, you need to send a third party with them on that field trip. Like I'm sure that there were chaperones or whatever, but you need to send the vice president. It's not president. Vice principal. Or another like teacher. You need to send someone with the explicit instructions that you need to watch what's going on here. Just to cross your T's and dot your I's. Well, like, why would you not do that?
And even if they both deny the situation, they should not be in communication with each other at the school. The school should immediately act on anything like that.
Exactly.
And say, we're going to separate these two. You shouldn't be in any of his classes. There should be no reason you guys should be connected at all. That way, if there is something going on and we see you two together, it's because something inappropriate is happening.
Well, I mean, in the school, you would think that they wouldn't want to be liable.
That's
right.
So
I'm like, again, just to like cross your T's and dot your I's, why would you not put extra safety measures in place, you know, just to make sure, even if you're like, oh, no, I know this guy, he would never do something like that. But you know what? Just to be sure, I'm going to keep an eye on it. Why wouldn't you do that?
So it's on this field trip where he pesters her and badges her for sex. She's able to get out of it. But yeah,
bold on a school trip.
It's shortly after that the rumors are enough. Like enough students and stuff like that have seen like enough stuff that they decide to suspend him while they do an investigation, and that's when they contact police. So he goes home and he tells his wife, like, I can't believe this. Like, you know, Beth, like, we've taken her to church. Like, we are just a father-daughter relationship. And his wife is like, totally believes him. Like, they've been married for, I don't know, like 34 years or whatever at that point. Never, ever had an issue of infidelity. She's like, yeah.
That she knows of.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a couple weeks after that during his suspension when like the police are starting to like look into the matter and stuff, and it seems like he might not get his teaching license back because they've interviewed enough people. Meanwhile, this whole time he's been constantly texting Elizabeth, like so much, saying like, we need to get away, we need to run away, we need to run away, and if you don't run away with me, I'm going to kill myself. I have two guns. I'm going to hurt your family. Like, you need to go with me. And so it's also,
can we say, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, it's also really sad that like she doesn't trust clearly her father enough to bring this to him. Because like at that point, like I understand you have divided loyalties because you're feeling like you're indebted to this person in some ways, but it's also like he's threatening your family now. Like I feel like that would be a line for me where I'd be like, look, mom or dad, like I just wanted to show you these things. Like I don't know.
I'm in over my head, but obviously she didn't have a stable enough home life or anyone that she felt like she could trust that would have her best interests at heart or that would help her. So she agrees to meet him at a Shoney's. She packs
Romantic.
A few bags and he ends up being late. So she leaves one of the bags at the Shoney's with a note in it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You've been pestering her for months. Yeah. You're 50. She's 15. She finally agrees to meet you and you're late, sir?
Well, it took him a while because he had to convince his wife that he was so stressed from the suspension and everything like that. He's just going to go out of town for a few days and clear his head. Can I borrow your car? Okay. So he had to take his
borrowed her car.
He took his wife's car and finally made it to Shoney's where he picked her up. And as soon as she got in the Shoney's, I know.
Do Shoney's even exist anymore? Like what? Were they having this conversation over like French toast dippers? Like what's happening? No.
French toast dippers.
She gets in the front seat and as soon as she does, she notices that there's a gun in the console between them. So she said on the 2020 thing, like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of this or get out of the car. Like, I knew right then. But luckily, she had left that bag there with a note and had talked to her sister before she left for Shoney's. And she says, if I'm not back by 6 p.m., call the police. Which is what happened.
Here's the thing. I strongly believe this from all of the Oprah and Maury Povich I watched back in my youth. But many times I've heard never go to a second location, right? So if somebody tries to take you or snatch you or whatever, you're going to have to shoot me here in front of all these fucking people. That's just it.
Yeah. But I imagine
don't forget,
there's a certain amount of like, even though you know you're in a shitty situation, like there's a certain amount of trust there still, right? Because it's like you've developed what you think is a real relationship with this person. And me, not that I was an idiot at 15. I don't mean to say it like that, but that's the word that came to mind. I was just naive. I was so naive at 15.
That was my PSA though for 15
yes.
years.
Oh, yes,
if you're listening, never go to a second
or
location.
Anyone. If you feel threatened, if you feel threatened, don't go to a second
You're going to have to
location.
shoot me. I have my chances, my odds are higher. My chances of living are higher if you try to do something against me, at least in front of people. I'm going to get to an ambulance sooner. If you go to a second location, your odds go down exponentially.
Right? And even like my story this week, make a scene.
Yep.
Make a scene. Because like, yes, you're in his car, but you're still in the Shoney's parking lot. Like you can make a scene.
Show enough can. Oh.
Honk that horn. Bang on those windows.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like for this poor girl, like that time period where she was at school after he got suspended, not only were her classmates bullying her, saying like, you ruined his life, like, you fucking slut, like all kinds of stuff, that teachers were doing it too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised by that because we treat teenage girls like adult women. Like we allow them, for all of our boys will be boys talk or boys mature slower than girls talk or any of that. We never talk about what the negative consequences of that are. So if you're saying that boys mature slower than girls, you are indicating that you think that girls are mature at the time in early adolescence or in those early teenage years. And they absolutely aren't. I think about who I was at like 14 or 15, and I could absolutely see getting wrapped up. I was 15 and getting hit on by adult men. And it was a flattering thing to me. I felt flattered by it. It didn't feel predatory or anything like that. So
I toyed a 21-year-old when I was 16.
And he knew what he was doing. That's the thing. Is like, and that 21-year-old knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Adult men know what they're doing, and teenage girls, we are conditioned to feel flattered by it. Yeah. So to say that
attention.
She ruined his life as though he had nothing to do with it is really upsetting.
Yeah, exactly. This story infuriated me. But so they're on the run now. Like, he's got her. He had like gotten a loan from a pawn shop. So his only plan was to steal his wife's car, and he has $4,500 in cash and this little girl, and he's on the run. So they make their way west through Tennessee. He had told her to like write a note and like leave it behind, saying they were going to New York, but she did it in such a way that it was so unbelievable that they were like, no, they're probably going west. So they're driving through all these different states. He had made like hotel stays, telling people that it was his wife and everything. But I mean, she was obviously a
15.
child.
Have you seen a 15-year-old lately? No. Sir, you're 50. You would have had a better chance saying that this was your daughter.
Yeah.
So their first play is to go. They make their way to San Diego, and then he was big in the church, so they had done a bunch of mission trips in Panama. So his first plan, and I want to stress how fucking bananas I think this next part is. I literally have been laughing about it for 2 days now. He wanted to get a kayak in San Diego.
No, wait, what?
And kayak 3,000 nautical miles to Panama.
Bitch. Let me see your upper body. Let me see it. You got the arm strength for that, sir? Have you been practicing on a rowing machine?
Listen, this motherfucker can't kayak from fucking San Diego to Baja.
Okay? Yeah, honey.
Fucking Christopher fucking Columbus didn't even go that far. That's what Eric said. He was like, what the fuck is this?
3,000 miles is so many miles. I don't even want to drive that many miles.
Why didn't you just jog there?
You're telling me a 50-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl are about to just like paddle their way to Panama?
They tried, and the open ocean was so scary. They did make it back.
But
they're lucky they made it back.
Have you ever been in the ocean?
Have you ever kayaked in the ocean? It's the fucking worst.
Okay, first of all, I love kayaking in the ocean.
I don't.
It's so scary.
When we went on that Carnival cruise,
I
fucking loved it. We kayaked in Mazatlan, and it was great. But Mazatlan. But you know that like you are kayaking this distance and back.
Yeah.
And like that's fucking it. Like I am not trying. There is nothing scarier if you have not been on a boat in the middle of the ocean where there is no land anywhere around you.
Fuck that. 100
is so scary. And if you were in a kayak where I'm sorry, the only way for me to get around is by my own arm strength.
Question.
You can't carry enough water and food.
How are you going to
3,000 miles? What is that? That's like a 5-day drive.
Bitch, like, why did you pack any bags at all? What are you going to put them in? You can't put them in a kayak.
They just put like some sandwich meat in a knapsack, tied it to the end of a stick, and brought it with them.
Man.
Okay. Like a fucking hobo in a boat. Like, what are you doing?
So, first of all, other context is that some of the stuff that Tad was telling Elizabeth was that exactly. Was that he was in the Rangers, and he was part of the team that helped kill bin Laden, and like all kinds of bananas ass shit that he could get away with saying because he's saying it to a 15-year-old. Just
who was probably not even alive during 9/11. So she's like, yeah, sounds reasonable.
So they get off the kayak, and second of all, like fucking Elizabeth at this point is fucking hungry.
Bag still at the shore when they got back
because he won't let her eat anything but salads.
This motherfucker. He's want to drown him in the ocean.
I like skinny girls.
Cassie's so mad. I am going to fucking wreck shit in a minute.
Oh my God. Imagine the entitlement. This motherfucker.
I like skinny girls, Tad. I like men with real names, Tad.
Dude. And you know what's super, super sad? What bummed me out after I saw that is they had showed wedding pictures of Tad and his wife. And she was really thin back in the day, and she looked like Elizabeth. But over 30 years, she had put on some weight or whatever, and that just bummed me out.
Because she's an adult and grew and
she's a human person.
And had children. Oh my God. Heaven for fucking
Oh, I know.
You know
I want to light him on fire. He's the worst.
Here's the deal. Go to therapy. Go to fucking therapy, Tad. Like everyone, I don't, what kind of regression are you just like tuned into in your brain that you need to rewind the clock and date your wife from high school? But
guess
even
what,
more
Tad?
than that,
maybe I want to rewind the clock on your dumbass. I bet you're not as fit and thin and skinny and trim as you were when you were back then.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I want to know if his wife is satisfied. Is she satisfied with your relationship?
Is your dick grow since then, Tad?
Namaste.
So,
okay.
Namaste. So plan A of kayaking to 3,000 nautical miles to Panama.
That is the
Didn't
worst.
work.
Of course. Okay.
So plan B was he actually found a commune here in California called Black Bear
Please
Ranch.
don't bring California into this.
So
find this place, Black Bear Ranch.
In the middle, way off the grid of Northern California is Black Bear Ranch. And they have nothing. No television, radio, newspapers.
Where did he hear about this place?
Off the land. He found it online. I guess you can, like, people know it's there. You know what I mean?
We're taking notes. We're like, maybe we'll go to Black Bear Ranch.
But so they meet one of the people there, and they're like, you know, we want to join your commune. And this guy, April Showers, is like,
no.
This guy looks like a poor man's Harry Styles, and his name's April Showers.
I'm Mayflower.
Oh,
he's like they came in with like a weird energy. And
like their vibe was off.
Their vibe was not chill. And so they were able to stay there, though, for like 10 days. And finally, Tad got into a fight with April Showers. And April was like, you gotta dip. You're out. You're kicked out.
So much about this story is just what's happening. Are we in a Mark Twain novel?
Stop saying April Showers immediately.
Like they tried to kayak to Panama. Then they go to a commune. They meet April Showers, who they do not get along with.
Nope. Tad and April Showers do not have good vibes. So then they're just down on their luck. They're out of money. They're out of food, which I guess Tad's fine with Elizabeth not eating, but he himself would probably like a burger. So they stop in Cecilville, California, and this is where they meet. Oh my God, you have to watch the 2020 specifically to meet this guy.
Mayflowers.
Who ends up being their rescuer. His name is Griffin. So they interview Griffin, and he's like, he's a gas station attendant who also like caretakes these little like hunting cabins. And I'm talking, you think cabin like, oh, cozy.
I thought you were going to say hunting cats. And I was like, he caretakes some hunting cats? That's the cutest thing I've
ever heard. So these are more like shacks. They're not insulated. There's no furniture in them. They're nothing. They're like, I don't know, like Sounds 8x8 perfect. Shacks. And so they introduce themselves as John and Joanna to this guy. And this guy, I'm going to describe him. Okay. Yes. He is like if Keanu Reeves' character in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures grew up and was a gas station attendant who caretook hunting. He's like, so yeah, they came in and they were like down on their luck, and I was like, well, y'all can shack up in one of these cabins for sure.
Oh my God, Griffin, bless your fucking heart.
God.
But so they're staying there. They're freezing. There's no insulation. This is like, it's March, getting into April in Northern California. No insulation, no food, nothing. And he starts telling his friend about it. He's like, man, I just feel really bad about it. And his friend's like, yo, but did you see this Amber Alert? And he's like, oh shit, that's Joanna. And so then he calls the cops. And
dude, wait. Oh shit. That's Joanna.
I was gonna say I can't remember which one's Bill and which one's Ted. I feel like Keanu Reeves was Ted, so this guy is his Bill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
In my mind, they're Beavis and Butthead.
Yes. So the cops, like a million cops, like surrounds the cabin, and they're like, get out, it's over.
Tad, what did you think was going to happen? Like, I always think about this.
He had a plan. He had a plan to
kayak. Can I just stop for one moment and tell people, remind people that this guy is a school teacher. Mm-hmm. He was hired to mold young minds. Yep. This man who thought that they could kayak to Panama.
Health teacher.
Was a teacher.
So they arrest him, and I don't know how he managed to get this in, but right before they're taking him away, he whispers to Elizabeth, make sure to tell them that you went voluntarily and that we didn't do anything. Because of course, she talks in depth on 2020 about the things that they did, and it's just it's as bad as you can imagine. It's
why would you think that a 50-year-old man would take a 15-year-old girl for why? For funsies?
Yeah, exactly.
The only interest a 50-year-old man should have with a 15-year-old child is to babysit their kids.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Babysitters. Yeah.
So the long story short, he did end up going to trial and got 20 years. Elizabeth's impact statement and her ability to face him was beautiful. She moved back to Colioca, and the town is pretty split. But she's like, this is my home and I'm going to live here.
What is there to be split about? Yeah, that's exactly right. Anybody who is split on this, especially anyone who agreed to be interviewed, do you know how much the rest of the world who's watching you talk about well, I don't know, on national TV thinks that you're such a massive piece of shit. You're such a fucking piece of shit. If you can't stand behind this girl who was victimized, traumatized, what's wrong with you? Oh my God.
Right. Where they think that, she seduced him out of his mind or whatever. And it's
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works at all.
This works.
So, she also was able to settle a lawsuit with the school, who she said knew about it, did nothing about it, like they knew about it and still allowed him to chaperone her on a field trip and like didn't contact authorities, didn't like protect her. And she ended up getting a $650,000
good for her
settlement. And
how quick would you pull your fucking kids out of that school if this happened? Like if my kid was going to that school and this happened, we're moving.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So happy ending. She's working at a coffee shop. She has a boyfriend and a dog. And it seems like, at the end of the 2020 episode, she seemed like she was hopeful for her future, and she is in therapy, which is awesome.
Good.
Bless.
She has a lot to, we all have a lot to work through, but it seemed like she was really processing the experience and trying to let go of, blame or shame that she feels around the incident. So, and that's the story of the abduction of Elizabeth Thomas.
Wow.
Well, I haven't felt like smashing something so much in a while.
Yeah.
So
That made me angry.
Wow.
Cool. All right. Well, goodbye.
Thank you for that, Christina. It was
You're
great,
welcome.
actually. It was. Thank you.
Yeah, I really do need to and I will get screenshots Cassie of April showers.
Okay.
For you. And I'll send them to you, April showers and their eventual rescuer Griffin, just because you've got to see these.
Himself that name, right? April Showers.
This is a guy named April.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
it.
No,
Yeah.
he gave himself that name.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
Or were his parents also like hippies who lived on that commune?
I don't know. They did not.
Listen, I love how much we're making fun of this commune when also secretly.
No, like high key will check it out.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in NorCal, I might stop by just to see.
Yeah.
Just check it out.
Tell April I said hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Oh, what are you guys watching this week?
I'm not really watching anything new. I have watched a few episodes of Evil Up Close on YouTube, as I told you guys about whenever I did my Crazy in Love a couple weeks ago. It's a great true crime, British true crime kind of show. It's fun, but man, is it really dark. Of course it is. So I was watching that. I did start Love on the Spectrum, but
you did.
I did. I like it. But I kind of am waiting to see what people from that community, how they feel about the portrayal of, so the show is basically like a reality show following, people with varying degrees of autism going on like learning how to date and like dating people. And I think it's a very interesting show. It's eye-opening. A lot of it is like there's one couple on there in the first episode that's like super sweet, and I really liked. But I'm hesitant because I'm not a part of this community, and I want to hear what someone from the community thinks about the portrayal of the people in the show, and if they think it is an accurate or a respectful portrayal. So I've paused on that. I watched the first like 2 episodes, and I'm taking a pause, but.
Okay. I'm kind of interested to check it out for sure. I am currently watching, I just started to show 21 again. It's also on Netflix. And okay, so here's the thing. You must watch it. At least the first couple episodes, just because it is
What's it about?
I have a lot to talk about. So the premise is these 20-something young, like adult women, you know what? The youngest is like 16. So these like 16 to 23-year-old women are having their mom. They like think that their moms just can't understand what it's like to be a Gen Z 20-something.
Probably true.
Yeah. And so they make their moms have makeovers to make them look 21 again.
Okay.
And
I don't know about this.
They
Cassie.
send them out into the wild, and it is
okay, but that doesn't teach you what a Gen Z kid is going through,
for
because
a
you're
month.
you're a 40-year-old dressed like a Gen Z kid, though. The response is
This
different.
makes me think I've never been kissed.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, you're like Drew Barrymore. You're 35. We know you're 35.
You're 35. They put them in. So this is a month experiment. They put them into all kinds of different scenarios and situations. One of which is one of them goes on like a Jenga dating thing, which is like, so one of them, like they set up like a Tinder profiles and they have to go out on like Tinder dates, and it's just, it's fucking hilarious. And then the Jenga date though, I have to bring up because I'm like, kind of genius. Like if you
Jenga.
Can get together again, but it basically was almost like a speed dating kind of thing, but with Jenga, and the Jenga was like the Jenga that had the questions on it.
Oh, I actually love that.
Yeah. So it was like,
get to know somebody.
How, what's something that no one knows about you? You know, just like get to know you questions on it and stuff. So it was fun. I actually thought it was a really genius idea. Want to host it. My worst date, Jenga date night.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, I love Jenga date night. I'm on the fence about the premise of 21 again.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel yet, but I'll give it an episode and see.
Well, I'm watching. I watched the weirdest thing on YouTube just the other day. My YouTube feed and what I watch on YouTube, like if you click on recommendations, it's quite
YouTube's
a menagerie.
The best. YouTube has been our like saving grace of quarantine. YouTube is the A team for me.
I found this documentary in quotes called Strange Flyers Around Portland, Oregon. I think it's called Have You Been Having Strange Dreams? So back in 2008, there were flyers like all over the world that were like, ever dreamed this man? And it was a photo of a man.
No.
That
this
was
is
really
right
scary.
Up your fucking
No.
This is right up your alley, Christina. You love this shit.
I do. And so they're like, if you have, go visit thisman.org.
Nope.
Okay,
And
I'm going right
it's
now.
fucking creepy. Look at thisman.org and look at his fucking face, Keegan.
Okay,
you are going to be, Cassie, you'll be too scared. Look, his
All right,
face
let me
is
look
weird.
and I'll tell you if it's something you can handle.
I'm going to see it.
His face.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah. So his face was all over the world, all over like cities in like Beijing.
He hasn't been in my dreams, but he will be now.
Exactly. So then like nothing really happens with that. And then in 2015, all over Oregon, there's just a plain white flyer. Have you been having strange dreams? Willamette Valley Dream Society wants to hear them. Call this number and leave your dream.
Nope.
And so everyone's like, that's kind of weird. And it kind of blows up on Reddit a little bit. But then this year, those flyers started appearing all around Utah. And they're like, call the Happy Valley Dream Society. We want to hear your strange dreams.
Nope.
So this is all like this investigation of like, who the fuck is doing this? And so that's what the documentary is.
Oh my God. Do they find out?
Mm-hmm.
They do find out.
Yeah.
Is it creepy?
Is
it that dude?
Basically, I don't want to spoiler
He sketched
alert.
himself and he's like, have you been dreaming of me?
But yeah, I mean, it's not an extremely well done documentary, but it's a really intriguing story, and I was entertained, so I give it 2 thumbs. But yeah, that man's face is really unsettling. That picture is not great.
It's not pleasant.
If you want an unsettling documentary, it's on Hulu. We didn't even finish it, but it's called Wrinkles the Clown.
Nope. Abso-fucking-lutely
Have you
not.
seen that?
No.
Oh my God, it's really fucked up. So it's what happened like in 2016. You remember when all those clowns were just like, what's up, like in the woods? So he's one of those. He's a clown. He's got this like wrinkle like mask. And the way it was done, I was like, this has to be a mockumentary. This can't be real. But all my Googling is like, oh, no, it's real. So he like stalked the area, like walking around in this creepy clown mask. And then it became a thing where like he would leave like flyers and stickers up everywhere. That's
where
like if your
parents
kid is
can
misbehaving,
hire them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
and
you.
All of these, and it's horrible because you can hear the kids screaming like in the background,
That's
like, no.
fucked up.
Like, I'm calling Wrinkles the clown. I'm going to call him and tell him what you did. And then he can show up like outside their window.
No!
Or like whatever. Like,
that's child abuse.
To try and make them behave.
Exactly. It is. It's child abuse.
And they interview like parents who are like, I'm a good dad. Like,
no, you're not.
I just want to like.
You're not.
And but to me, I'm like, that is so fucking traumatizing.
That's horrible. Contraire, sir. Contraire. You are a horrible
and
human
they interview,
and father.
They interview the clown guy, and they never show his face. They always interview him from behind. And he's basically like, he's got this voice that sounds like he's a smoker from Jersey. And he's just like, yeah, this is just a gig. It's just a job. Like, I was having trouble like finding work as a clown. And then I started doing this, and like all of a sudden my business is completely blown up.
That's
wild.
terrifying.
I fucking
I
hate
think
it.
I heard something about it. Like,
I feel like you told us about this
one
before.
of the parents like hide him underneath the bed or something like that?
Yes. And that video went viral because like while she's sleeping, he's underneath the trundle bed, and he like slides out underneath the bed and is like, and it's all creepy. Dude, it is fucked up. I didn't finish the documentary, so I don't know how it ends, but wow. Anyway.
Yeah.
I hate these people. This is why we have 2020, guys. This is why.
Like, and also, who just lets some strange Santa Claus looking man
bed.
in a van like come into your kid's
under my
bedroom?
Hey, you know what? If you could just go under my daughter's bed.
Yeah, here's my home address. Here's the room where my daughter sleeps. Like,
oh my God.
With you?
What kind of fucking Stephen King novel are we living in now?
Fucking
Jesus
hate
Christ.
this.
Mess. It's a mess.
Anyway, I just have to say that it's we're recording on the 25th of July, and we have survived past the Daybell curse.
Oh, hey.
Oh, that's right.
Congratulations,
The
you
world
guys.
did
Cheers.
not end.
Cheers to
Oh
us.
my God. Please, somebody, anybody, my plea to you is if you are in any way a reporter or able to get in touch with this dumb bitch, I want to know. I want to know what she's thinking. I want to know what she's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the world's not ended and she's not lording over the apocalypse in her weird fantasy. My God.
Wow.
Thanks for pointing that out. I forgot that
Look,
that
we
was
lived,
today.
Guys. Oh, don't think I haven't been doing a silent countdown in my head every fucking
I mean,
day.
with the way 2020 has been going, I wouldn't have been surprised.
That's why I'm like,
I don't want to
she's
scare
funny.
you guys, but one of the claims in the documentary that I watched
Oh, no.
is that the world's going to end September 5th of this year.
All
So
right,
we have
start a whole new countdown.
Great.
Reset that clock to
Great.
0. Here we go.
And if
You
you
know
want
what?
want some fun, there is a Reddit thread about
Honey,
September 5th, 2020.
You guys.
So.
Here's the thing. Can we just assume that it is and just go back to living normal for that last few months?
No, Cassie.
Okay. I tried.
Yeah, because who wants to have coronavirus right before the world ends?
No,
like,
that's true.
Come on.
Can you imagine? I want to be able to enjoy my last few months.
Okay. Well,
This
be
went off the
responsible.
rails fast.
Yeah. Be responsible. Wear your mask. And let's pray that we live past September 5th.
Yeah. Hey,
Here.
we made it past one doomsday. I
right.
believe in us for the second. So if you've got TV shows that we should watch, if you have stories, if you have fuck, marry, kill suggestions, if you want to just reach out and say hi because coronavirus has got you feeling a little bit lonely, go to our one-stop shop of website, myworstatepodcast.com. And thank you guys so much for listening. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.